Step into the extraordinary world of Event Horizons, the podcast that transforms the art of celebration, brought to you by Illustrative Artistry. This is not just another event planning show, it is a masterclass in designing unforgettable experiences. Join our host, Bianca, a visionary event designer, as she pulls back the curtains on the secrets of stunning events. From breathtaking weddings to corporate galas, every episode dives deep into the creative process, the latest trends, and the stories behind the scenes. Expect insider tips, industry interviews, and a splash of inspiration that will leave you ready to design your next spectacular event. Whether you're an aspiring planner, a seasoned pro, or just love the magic of a beautifully orchestrated event, Event Horizons is your ultimate guide to the artistry of celebration. Tune in, get inspired, and watch your events go from ordinary to extraordinary. Catch the latest episode now and let your imagination soar with Illustrative Artistry. Hello all and welcome. This is going to be another very exciting episode of Event Horizons, and you guys know who I am. I am Bianca Bullard, the host and creative director behind Event Horizons and Illustrative Artistry. And today I have Miss Shonell sitting in the chair. I kind of mad low-key because she ain't bring no grub. As you can see, she is dressed in her chef's outfit. So obviously we are going to be speaking on catering today. Catering to perfection is our topic for today. So I'm going to allow Ms. Shonell to introduce herself and give us a brief history of her and her business and her journey into the catering business. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Bianca, for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Event Horizon. And yes, I am Shonell Bryce Cooper. The name of my company is Classy Chefs Catering. I do catering, so that encompasses all of your meals, your setups, as well as providing china and glassware. So full setup.
So you're a caterer.
I'm a full event caterer. Yes.
And that's very good to know. And with you saying that, that brings my very first question. Is there a difference in the industry when it comes to catering or being a cook or a chef? Like what what is the job description, if you're able to, kind of break it down for me? Like, I kind of slow when it comes to this. What is the role of the caterer? What is a chef? What is a cook? Like, what roles do they play?
Okay, so we'll start with cook. So cook just prepares meals. Cook. Most times cooks are untrained. Okay, a chef is a trained individual that has some type of training in the classroom and hands-on. And then you would have a caterer who is a chef who wants to expand and to bring meals to people for their enjoyment. And also you have a full event caterer who does the whole nine, who would come and do your setup of your buffet with the buffets, the setup of buffets. We also have private chefs who go into homes who would also prepare meals for the enjoyment of their clients as well.
Okay, so your classification for your business is you are an event caterer?
I'm an event caterer. I'm also a private chef.
Okay.
I do your catering as well, so I kind of do a little bit of everything.
So you are able to fit in any category need be.
Yes.
You're not just isolated to one.
No.
So now, because we are diving into pretty much what the role of a caterer would be for an event. You touched on it when you introduced your business. You spoke on the fact that you do the setups. I must say that's one of my biggest pet peeves when doing an event in regards to the catering, because when let's just say you're doing a wedding and the bride and groom, they have their caterer, and I have to use quotations, right? And then coming to the event, I get a message, or doing my setup of the reception, or where the tablecloths and the tables for the food.
Right.
So my question is now, when I say break down, I need this to be broken down because I am in the medium class right now. You as the caterer, your role for that, let's just say a wedding, your role for that wedding is to provide the full setup if that is what you and the client agreed upon. So let's just say you have a full exclusive invoice for this client where you are doing the event catering. What does that entail?
Okay, so, and it's quite funny you say that because it also, when there's event planner involved, the first thing I would do is ask if you have an event planner. So then you and I can communicate. And so we can say, okay, what is required from your end and what is required from my end. Also, if I'm speaking directly with the client, and I would find out if they have a person who is going to provide decor, and does the decor include the skirtings for the tables, the cloths for the tables, or do I have to provide? And then that is, input into their costing. So it's just a matter of communication, a matter of talking, like I said, with the event planner and with the client, and to making sure that all is done. And the checklist, everything is completed off of that checklist to make sure. Now if they say that, okay, well, I have an event planner and she's planning everything, how many cloths do you need for your tables, how many tables do you need, and that information would be provided as well. But if, like I said, if it's on me, I would have to say, okay, well, I would need 6 tables, and I would also need to have a view of the area so I can find out where exactly my tables will be placed. And also I would also have a setup person, so they would go and set up before I bring the food. And so I would need to do a site inspection with them as well. If not all of us together, I would do it with them, or do a floor plan so that they would know exactly where everything is to be placed.
So caterers do site inspections.
We do. I do. I do.
So caterers do layout.
For their food.
A qualified, certified caterer, event caterer.
Well, I guess.
The reason why I'm asking is because there's a lot of back and forth between decor and catering. Catering at times, because now we are setting up an event. I already charged my client for X, Y, and Z. Nothing came across to say that, okay, Bianca, my caterer is asking these questions, or client, does your caterer needs X, Y, and Z, so that I can have these things packed, so that I can know how to charge accordingly. Number one, am I charging you, or am I charging the caterer? So then if I'm charging the caterer, is the caterer now charging you? So then it doesn't make sense. So I might as well just put this on your invoice one time, so that I can know how to do as such. And then in regards to the plates, the cutlery, the glasses, and so forth like that. A controversial question. Have you found it in the industry where caterers do not provide those things? They just...
No. They... Well, let me say, from me, as I know of a few caterers, don't normally provide that. But because I am able to, I bring that forward to the client, because it's when you're trying to plan an event and you have more that you can get from one individual, I think it makes the client, it's a bit easier for them.
I agree.
So instead of them having to go and find somebody who can provide glasses, provide plates, but you can get that at one stop.
And it takes away the headache of trying to figure out, well, number one, having multiple invoices to pay. Because now if everything is comprehensive on this invoice, I know once I've paid Shonell, this bulk of things are going to be covered, and I don't have nothing else to worry about. So, do you provide actual china?
If it's preferred by the client. So I would, ask, would you prefer china, or would you prefer, the chinette, or the hard plastic that's used most in events now? So it depends on the type of event. It depends on the style of the client. What's their preference. And so so it varies in that regard.
So I had to get that question. That was heavy on my chest because I have experienced that so many times over in dealing with events and setting up weddings and so forth, and then it becomes very hard when the caterer damages the tablecloths and so forth like that, and then they do not want to replace or replenish what they have damaged. So I was always under the impression when I did my training, when I did my luxury styling training for my business, we were taught that this is the role of what an event caterer does. Only when the caterer and the client decides different, then the decorator may be the one to get that portion of the contract. But that has to be said in black and white.
Definitely.
But it's not the fact that where you were hired to provide the food and do the catering, and your expectation is that the decorator is going to make sure that your area is set up. It should not be like that. Okay.
So, and as I said earlier, the event planner and the chef should have that communication, that initial communication, because they basically are the main persons that bring the event to life. I mean, you have the flowers, they put the flowers there, but if you don't have the food, what do they come in to do? What they come, So let me say what brings it together. One of the two main components, is the food and planning the whole event. So they go hand in hand. So if you're an event planner and you haven't asked those questions as to say, okay, who's your caterer, or do you have a caterer, or do you need me to supply a caterer for you? So they say, okay, no, but we have Classy Chefs catering for us. Okay, give me her contact, and then we would communicate. And we would know exactly, like you said, you would know exactly what I'm providing, and I would know exactly how you're providing. No muddy water, clear. Exactly. So I would need to know what time you're going to be there to set up, so I know what time I need to be there to set up. And, it should be between me and you, and not between me and the client, because, like I said, to have an event eases the burden off the client when they hire an event planner.
I agree.
So,
I agree. Now, in our Bahamian culture, food plays such a vital role for almost every event. It's almost like you've been invited to a party and the first thing in mind, what on the menu, because I need to know what am I going to eat and so forth like that. So I mean, our cuisine, I think our Bahamian cuisine, I think the Bahamas in general, the Bahamas itself is very culture filled, and everything we do, we try our best to infuse the culture into it. So we have lobster, we have conch. I mean, let me not say lobster. We have crawfish, we have conch, we have grouper, we have snappers. I mean, we have, I think, our waters, our land, even for those that graze our hogs or the cows and the goats for the mutton. I think our soil, our land is so rich that everything we produce, it can't help but to taste good. Yes. And then, when we put our little twist on it, like how we now have both the traditional conch salad and then we have the tropical conch salad. So, your twist, Shonette's Bahamian cultural twist on cuisine. Explain that to me. When you're doing an event, how do you infuse your Bahamian culture into it?
Well, as you said, we do have a rich culture, and everything we do tastes good from the ground. Tastes good even before we put our natural twist on it. Because if you take a piece of grouper and you just squeeze a lime on that, cook it sweet, that's all you need. But we try to infuse and to over season and to do this and to do that. We just need natural flavors. Fresh herbs that we get from the grow. Like you said, the lemons, the limes that we grow. Stuff like that. But now, like you say, infusion. So we put a little twist on that. So we try to incorporate some other tastes. Like, we have a lot of persons who like Asian flavors, so we infuse Asian flavors as well. A lot of fruits. Persons are using a lot of fruits, a lot of mango, tamarind, guava, even soursop, infused with meat and savory. Savory and sweet, merging together to create a beautiful balance, with the salty and the sweet.
Right.
So, like as you asked, my take on infusing is with our local fresh fruits, and to have the savory and the sweet, combined together with fresh herbs and spices.
Yeah. I often eat with my eyes before I put it in my mouth, right? Because if it doesn't present well, I don't think it's going to taste well. So for you, when you present your culinary expertise, when you present your cuisine to your clients, how is it presented?
Well, my name is Classy Chefs Catering,
And
so
you got to stand for the name.
I got to stand for my name, and that is one of the compliments that I get from my clients.
Awesome.
Today I did an event. It was a lunch event, but the way how it was laid out, everyone talked about the food, and it was like, and the presentation, to me, it's like, okay, how you lay with your salads, and but it's how you present it, and how you serve it. So that is a big thing for me. I love presentation. I love decor. I have my own, and that's why I say I present a full catering. Okay, it's not just sending the food and somebody else sets it up. I have to be there hands-on. So if I have 3 events that day, then I touch one, I touch the other, and I touch all. But I have to put my touch on. Not that I don't trust my staff, because they are trained on the
That's nothing like your touch. It's your brand.
Right.
It's your brand.
Right. So I have to make sure that it is, that the signature is there. And so, like I said, I love to put a little twist here and there. So you would see some of my buffets and everything has little flowers, little greenery here and there, and sometimes I ask all times I ask my clients, do you have a color scheme? And they would say, okay, my color scheme is such and such, and so I would get select napkins to decorate the tops of the chafing dishes. I would get like some greenery, or even the tablecloths if I have them in stock. If not, if I have enough time, I'll order them. Just so to give a little extra touch, and they wouldn't be expecting it. I just ask a question. I wouldn't say, I'll provide for you such and such. No, I'll ask, and then as best as I could put a little in there, I try to do that.
So then you say you also do the decor portion of it, and you just thoroughly explain that well. So you tend to do liaison with the decorator as well to ensure that your colors aren't clashing, or so far that so it could be like a blend between the main decor and also the catering decor.
Well, the conversation, communication, which comes with the event planner and me. If there is not an event planner, then I would just do what I have to do.
Do what you have to do, because that's your name. And I like that. I really do like that. And I know, social media pretty much has taken over our lives by storm. And there's been a lot of caterers from around the world, and a lot of Caribbean caterers that have been really popping up on my For You page on Instagram and TikTok and so forth, that how they curate an experience. I mean, to the point that it's almost like they don't need any additional decor.
Exactly.
And I know for a fact that I have seen persons over here that are able to do certain things like that to ensure that it's not just the food that tastes good. Like the whole presentation is stellar. And when I heard the name of your company, like I always tell people like bougie. So what I heard the name of your company saying, this is Shonell's business already exudes, the name alone exuded, and then you have already exquisitely explained the fact that your food represents your name.
Exactly.
And then your presentation represents. So you have a trifecta. So what made you get into catering?
Well, that brings a little history.
Okay.
So, which I didn't explain when I explained about myself. So I was actually interested in catering from when I was in high school.
Okay.
And that was plenty years ago. And so Bahamas Hotel Training College, which it was then, now UB, I went to the HTC, did the apprenticeship program, and completed that. Upon graduation, I went to Johnson & Wales University, so I was there for 2 years, and then I completed my externship at the Marriott Marquis at Atlanta, in Georgia. And from there, I came home about 2 years later and joined Sandals. Bahamian.
Okay.
So I was at Sandals for 19 years.
Wow.
And I left in 2016 as an executive sous chef. And I went back into my catering. So while there, I did a little bit on your days off. On your days off, you do a little bit of here and there. But I went fully into it 2016.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's a little bit about me and how I got into it. So I was always doing it. I always, a lot of times when we do our buffets, we have to do our decor and everything because we don't have no event planner coming to do that. So we have to do the decor. So our decor was palm trees and anything around the area. Do not pick the flowers, but that didn't stop us.
No, of course not.
But we used to put a little poinsettia and all of that on our tables, and greenery from the sea grape leaves and all of that. So we use indigenous whatever was near to us to decorate all our buffets, and especially if we have the outdoor buffets, it's already beautiful. Yeah, especially if we have it on the beach. We just add a little extra, to our buffet tables.
I got you.
So I think the natural knack for presenting buffets came from that initial training as well. So it just followed me.
So how did you curate Classy Catering? How did you figure out to do, but not figure out, how did you get the name Classy Catering?
It's been so long now, I can't fully remember, but I think it was something, playing like, I'm classy, something like that, and just, classy chefs, like, okay, yeah, this.
Doesn't that also speak to the kinds of events and the clients that you want to attract?
Definitely.
Have you found that within your tenure with being fully in business now that you only attract a certain level of clientele, or is it straight across the board?
Straight across the board.
Straight across the board.
Yeah, but I do have high-end clientele, and then the persons who just want a little here, a little there, I provide as well. So it's nothing too big and nothing too small. I do it all. Yeah.
What brings you the most? What tends to bring you the most pleasure in doing it? Like in doing your catering, is it just preparing the food or doing the full setup and seeing it through? Like, tell me what is your takeaway from what you do with your business?
To have a successful event,
Number
definitely,
one.
And to just see the smiles on the guest's face, the enjoyment of them having a great time and enjoying the food. As I walk around at the event, they stop and tell me, "You the chef?" Yes. Oh, the food is excellent. That brings me joy. That brings me fulfillment, knowing that I've worked so hard over the past couple of days preparing to this day and executing, and to know that it's paying off. Yeah.
So you get anxiety before your event?
I do.
I think everyone in the events industry, almost every vendor who I've had since I started season 2 to now, spoke on the level of anxiety in putting this in putting any event together. Is it a lot of work?
It's a lot of work.
It's the prepping and
it's from the menu planning. Because first thing I ask my clients, do you have a budget?
That's the most importantest question.
Oh no, I don't really have a budget, but I want this and I want that. Okay. Do you have an idea of the type of meal you want, or what you would like to have? Even if you have your meat or your seafood, or give it to me so I can do you know what flavors you want to incorporate? Oh no, I just want you to put something together. Okay, cool. I go ahead, I put something together. That takes time. Okay, so I put something together, and then when you present it to them, such and such don't eat this, so you can. Okay, so we make a little twist and make a little change, and relax again. So it's such and such, so it's a lot of back and forth. And I can understand that, because they are the client, you are the one who's supposed to make it happen. Right. So you are the one who's supposed to. Exactly. But it just takes a while. Getting back to the point of, if it's a lot of work, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
I can imagine.
It is.
So, do your catering service come along with servers, bartenders, and so forth?
Yes.
So it's not just you.
If it's requested by the client, then it is provided. So I do have those persons who are able to provide those services as well.
So straight clarification: you provide catering. Full catering, including bar services. Okay. That's good to know. That is very, very good to know, because a lot of times I've seen where sometimes we tend to be scrambling around for servers or persons to work the bar, and then we end up, those that aren't really in the industry and they just jumping in and they doing this and they doing that, tend to pull people from that are actually in the event to come work this bar for me, please. I need this bar to be service. Do you find it difficult when you're providing all of those things for the event?
No, because once it's organized and once you put persons in place, then
it goes smoothly. So what is what would be your time span for planning an event? Is it like, do you accept last minute clients? And when I say last minute, I mean like the week of? Realistically, yes. I think they all.
And maybe it's not my face that go to Shonell. She's gonna pull it off you. She pulls miracles out of her.
I was just about to ask you that. If they see you as the miracle worker,
they do. I certainly do.
But you get it done though, and you do it excellently.
And I do.
And I could honestly appreciate that, because we hear so much in social media that customer service has gone to the dogs in our Bahamian society. And, a lot of persons do not realize that our business itself, though you're a caterer and though I'm a decorator, before I can even get to the event, I have to provide good customer service in order for you to book me.
Sure.
How do you deal with your customer service? Like, are you the full face of your company, or do you have persons that handle your bookings and so forth for you?
No, I'm the full face of my company.
The full face of your company.
The full face.
You're the chef, you're the decorator, you're the CFO, you are the
yep.
You're the marketer.
That's very inspiring.
Because it's like so many roles, so many titles, right?
It is.
I get that. I completely get that.
It is.
But do you find it difficult working with different personalities in regards to clientele?
I haven't encountered. No, I haven't encountered one to date. And I think it's I think it goes both ways. So if you have a client who is generally that type, but when I speak to them, I think it calms them down a bit, because then persons tend to be timid, when people planning an event, they tend to be timid. So when you give them that assurance, that your event is going to be fine. Yeah, I'm going to make sure that this is going to happen.
I'm a professional in what I do.
Yeah, so I think that calms them and that relaxes them. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah.
Do you do tastings?
I do menu tastings. Not a lot of them, but I have had a few clients who have requested menu tastings. Those who have not had any type of service from me. A lot of my clients are booked through persons who I have already serviced, and they have referrals. Right, so a lot of referrals, and so I don't really need it, but like say a very new client would request, or if I'm providing services for the first time for a company, then they would request some samples, and so on that level, yes, I've done sampling.
Do you do pastries as well?
Not me, but I have a pastry person.
Your company has a pastry chef. Yes. Okay, so that's so if you're curating a menu for me and I'm asking you, hey Shonell, I'm going to have a wedding, the guest is about 250 persons, I would like a 5-course with dessert. You provide that full every single thing, so it's not like I have to go in hire someone to provide the sweets and so forth for my quote-unquote dessert buffet. So with your catering company, do you set up the dessert buffets as well if required to do so? Okay. Okay. No, see, the reason why is because a lot of times when you I know you've probably seen it within the time span that you've been doing your business, where it's like really like multiple vendors that are, and we all know that if we pull on one another as vendors to make an event, right? And sometimes I tend to ask, okay, then if a client comes to me and I'm planning, do you want a dessert buffet X, Y, and Z, or is your caterer just providing the dessert for your guests? Right. And that's where the multiple vendors tend to come in with dealing with the food. Right. Reason I'm asking is also because a lot of times persons confuse, let's just say I'm providing the desserts, but we are two separate companies. But the desserts are bad, but they're coming to you because you are handling the majority food aspect of that event. Have you, in your tenure, encountered anything like that, whereas you kind of have to be the buffer for another vendor that handles some edible portion of an event?
Not that I could really think of right now, but I understand what you're saying, because a lot of times when you do catering, not a lot of times, but sometimes when you do catering, and then the client would say, well, my cousin's gonna mix this pot of soup, and I'm like, okay, but I don't think that soup is going to be served either before or after the event, or because you represent what's on your spread. Yes, ma'am. You represent what's on your spread, and I don't think that they understand that. They just want to not make that cousin or that uncle feel bad. But they need to understand that if you have requested a caterer, whatever is on that table, it's a representation of that caterer. So, okay, in your eyes, your cousin may be the best soup maker, but for me and my standard may not be. Like, it may be a very, just put it into example, and be a mushy something, whereas they may be, I like it this way, but generally that's not how this particular dish is supposed to be, but you may like it that way. So sometimes I would put whatever the client's event special.
Yeah, so you
something like I
differentiate. This thing come from
I'm not saying to be negative.
No, of course not.
But
you still have to protect your brand.
Yes,
you still have to protect your brand. And just like you said earlier, a lot of your clients come from events that you've already done.
Right.
Either they've experienced your cuisine at an event, or you've done an event for someone and that person recommended you know. So I honestly get that, and I think a lot of persons come, guests, those that see us on social media, you know, when we do remember to post out of the 2 hours that we get to sleep.
I don't know.
When they
I don't know.
Man, listen. When they see us, they forget that we are a brand, you know, and something that you may like doesn't necessarily represent the brand that I'm trying to present. Not discriminating what it is that you like, but if you hired me, and this is like my motto, I believe if you hire Illustrative Artistry, you hired me for me
to do it. Exactly.
Right? I'm not saying, okay, you can't provide your own centerpieces. Yeah, but can you get those centerpieces to me before time so that
if you need to do anything to it.
Right, because now when time for that event to be all of those components to be put together, and then we stand back and we look, it's going to look a bit off if that does not represent, or if it does not coincide with what I have curated for your event. You know, and like we said from the beginning, the cuisine, food, for any event plays such a vital role. You could imagine, and of course you would not have experienced this because you're a top chef, having a grandeur, a beautiful event. I mean, in superb setup, the music is great, the atmosphere is great, but the food is left on the plates. I think picking the venue, your decorator, your caterer, and also your photographer.
Yes.
I think they are the 4 key vendors, aside from the planner. Because one of my episodes, I divulged into the difference between an event planner and an event stylist, right? As an event planner, we are in the industry and we get to know those who are top tier. So if a client comes to me and say, Bianca, can you recommend X, Y, and Z to me? And then I know, okay, we have different tiers of events, right? If I know Shonell brings top tier, not that I wouldn't recommend Shonell to do that, but I ain't give Shonell that stress. If I know this client, one is going to query and back and forth, oh, why it have to be so much, and why it have to do this, and why it have to do that. Do you feel that the preparation, the planning, the execution behind catering an event is downplayed, and people do not understand the work that goes into it?
That is definitely true. It is. People don't understand the work, the time, the frustrations, the setbacks, you know, because an event planner deals with all the vendors. It's supposed to deal with all the vendors. And so you reaching out to these vendors who may not have the time, or their response to you may be delayed, and so it's a lot. It's a lot to try. It's like putting a puzzle together. Just how long it takes to put the puzzle together, that's just how long it takes an event planner to get everything together, unless they have vendors that they've worked with before, and they know exactly how they run. And so once I tell John, you're doing the lights, I need a light going east, west, north, south, and I already tell them that, and we're really square on that because we've worked multiple events together, and so it's all about communications, like I say, and relationships. So, you know, most persons know, you know, a lot in the industry, and so that makes it a little bit easier, but still, it is a lot of work.
It is. I don't think I remember when I did full planning. I have, you know, with my business, I can do full planning and execution, or you can just hire me to do the styling and the decor for your event. And with planning, if you are anything like me, you are very hands-on when it comes to your catering aspect for the events. And I can remember planning the event, and is now event day, right? The setup was started. The event was Saturday. The setup started from Thursday. From Thursday. So that's the same as with catering, because you ain't buying that meat Saturday morning.
No.
You ain't seasoning that meat Saturday. You ain't, like, you doing your preparation before time. You had to take out your plates. You had to make sure all of the plates are clean, the cutlery are clean.
They're counted.
They're accounted for. Everything is accounted for. So when I come across clientele that starts to query, now this is my stance. I do not know if this is your stance. I tend to step back. Reason being is because if I price you, my price is my price. That's number one. And I'm not pricing you to build a mansion. I am pricing you based on every element that I have to put my hands on to make sure this event goes off how you expect it to go off.
Exactly.
Right. Because the minute something falters, you're not going to come to me. You know what you can do? Facebook. Oh, don't hire X, Y, and Z.
Exactly.
This is that. Oh, the rice was bad. Oh, the lighting was off. Oh, the tablecloth was too short. I was sick. Like, instead of being professional, because you hired me to do a service for you. So instead of coming to me as a service provider and saying, Bianca, X, Y, and Z, I really didn't appreciate, or I didn't like the service that I got. You turn to social media, you know, and
we got a lot of that lately.
And I heard you mention that you do not post, right? Is that a defense mechanism that you don't post, or that you just don't have the time to do it?
I don't have the time to do it. So recently, I've brought on a social media
manager.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I can't do it. Physically, I can't do it. It's just have a lot too much other things.
Yeah, it is a lot. Trust me, it is a lot to do. It is a lot to do, because I found myself when I had some downtime with from my work. That was the first time I was actually able to really run my social media, because I had a lot of downtime. I had like almost a year off from work, and I'm like, wow.
Takes a lot.
This is exhausting.
It takes a lot. And my thoughts recently, because a lot of things are becoming now overwhelming. So you know what? Let the people who are trained to do what they do it. So, like I say, recently
you hired them.
I brought on someone who is going. I'm in the process of rebranding. And so. Yeah, it's happening.
I love that.
You know, it takes a lot to say that, because sometimes you think, well, you know, well, I can't do it, but you just can't do everything.
And you've been in the business solely catering, you said, since 2016, and you're saying that you're rebranding now. You're saying that you're rebranding now, so that's like 9 years in, and you're rebranding. I want us to touch on that, but we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to touch on that. Okay?
Are you searching for the perfect touch of elegance and creativity for your next event? Look no further than Illustrative Artistry Event Parlor, your destination for unforgettable moments. At Illustrative Artistry, we pride ourselves on our detailed event consultations, where our expert planners work tirelessly to bring your vision to life. From intimate gatherings to grand celebrations, we've got you covered every step of the way. Our team specializes in event planning and execution, ensuring that every aspect of your event is flawless. With premium linens and decor expertise, we'll transform your venue into a breathtaking masterpiece that will leave your guest in awe. And that's not all. Make your event truly memorable with our exclusive partnership with Stationery Hut, the ultimate destination for customized gift items. Whether you're looking for personalized mementos or wholesale crafting blanks, Stationery Hut offers the widest selection at the most affordable prices in town. Why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? Visit us today and let us turn your dreams into reality. Illustrative Artistry Event Parlor, where every moment is a masterpiece. Located at Shop 6 Soldier Road Shopping Center, Soldier Road West. Call us on 603-0517.
Guys, Shonell and I were just bantering. What has been your biggest challenge with catering high-end events here in the Bahamas?
Sometimes finding the ingredients. Yeah. A lot of places recently don't stock a lot of things as they used to before.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard finding some stuff like you put something on a menu and you're thinking, okay, I could just go BFS and get it, and then when you call BFS, we discontinued that product.
Wow.
So then you have to go either change the menu or you have to try and get it some other way and just make it happen. But thankfully, I have not had a major hiccup in no event that I've done.
That's good.
A little off the camera thing, but my best friend calls me Bush.
Why?
Cause she says, Shonell, she's my pastry chef. So she's the one that does my pastry. She says, Shonell, anything you could spin around and make it happen.
Wow.
She said, if you okay, so she was asking about doing the full menu along with pastry. So sometimes I would give a pastry dish and put it on the menu, and then I would call her after. I say, so I just booked the client and they want a souffle with a mango puff. But like, Shonell, seriously? So man, listen, we can do that. You can do that. She said, Bush, you is make it. I don't know how you do it.
Wow.
And so you got, I mean, a lot of play on words. Of course, a lot of play on words, because it's something simple. But it's when the guests had that, a souffle with a mango.
I guess what they think about something they've never done before. They get when they see that.
When they see it, it's even more. And when we do it in the background, it's like, and they'd be like, oh, you take hours? Like, how long did you do that? It's like, it was really, But, yeah, she's called me Bush. Shonell, I don't know where you pull these things from. I said, but you got to do it,
But that's the prime example of what I said earlier. The Bahamas and our Bahamian people are some of the most creative people.
Exactly.
Are some of the most creative people, and I think food is an avenue for us to be creative. I say make things where people can get sick to their stomach. Now, this combination don't go good together. Don't try and make it, But Shonell, for you to be in the business for this long, that means you know what you're doing.
Yeah. I know what I'm doing.
And they can trust you to make a menu. So, okay, so let's see if we could, let me see if you could, let's do a impromptu menu. I'm going to tell you the meats. I'm going to tell you, what it is. Okay, so we're going to do a wedding for 150 guests. It's going to be an indoor wedding. but the theme of it is whimsical wonderland. So I don't want heavy food. However, I do want my guests to be satisfied. I do not want chicken. I would like poultry. I would like poultry. I would like something from the land. I like something from the sea. Now, when I say something from the land, I mean like beef, lamb, something like that. So 3 meats. I do want a salad, but I want my salad to be pretty. I want it to be hearty, and I want it to entice me. I would also like a soup. So I'm thinking this is more of a 5-course meal. Dessert-wise, I would like something cold, and I would like something warm. I'm not a big fan of rice, but I could do a rice that's not heavy. And I would really like a signature drink that represents my event.
Okay.
What you got for me?
Okay, so we could start. And is this event
Full service.
high-end?
High-end. Full service, so not buffet. I would like servers to be able to serve my tables, and I don't want nobody complaining that food taking too long to come.
Okay, so whimsical wonderland is something. In my take, would be a little white for like cloudiness. Also with a touch of color in there as well. And so for a nice soup, I would give you a lobster. I would give you a clear soup with lobster pearls.
So let me give you what I do. I do not like tomatoes.
Awesome. Well, that's what you get. You get your clear soup. So it'll be a very flavorful soup. It'll be a coconut flavored soup with lobster pearls. So you'll have your lobster. It's like a lobster mousse will be in there with your lobster pearls, and I'll cover it with a puff pastry dome. And so you'll have your cup with the puff pastry dome. You take it off, and there you have. So you'll have your puff pastry to dip in there as you eat, or you can break it in there and eat as you eat your soup. And so for your salad, you'll get whimsical with this. So you'll have your berries, fresh berries, with your romaine hearts, and you'll have a mango berry vinaigrette with that. Okay, and we'll infuse a little bit of rosemary in there. So we have a sweet and savory. For your entree, we will have lamb. So if you like rack of lamb, you'll have rack of lamb.
I do.
And we'll pair that with a nice red onion jam. So we have your lamb, and then we'll have your snapper. So we'll do a stuffed snapper. So we'll have 2-part snapper. So we do a snapper mousse, and we'll have a fillet of snapper with the mousse rolled. So it'll be a pinwheel of snapper with your rack of lamb, and it'll be served with a lobster croquette. A potato croquette. So you'll have your puff potato. It's going to be all gratin. So you'll have that nice, like, not say burnt, but crust. Crusted. So it'll be like flamed on the top. So all gratin, potato puff, and you'll have asparagus and baby carrots. Okay, for your dessert, you say you want a warm and a cold. So we can do a white chocolate mousse with that, and we can have a kind of like a guava, not say guava duff, but like a guava, like a warm guava trifle kind of. Well, not trifle, because trifle is like cold, but like a warm guava, similar to a guava duff, but not so much of a cup, like a I I could see it.
It's like
pinwheel. It's like another pinwheel with guava, but it's served warm with the white chocolate mousse. So you have the white chocolate with the guava and a nice warm with a nice guava sauce, vanilla and guava sauce.
Nice. So what you giving me for my signature drink?
And your signature drink would be, we can go with a martini. So it's clear. So we'll have a what fruit I can infuse in there now. We can use soursop. That's white. With what's up with soursop? Soursop with tamarind, maybe. So you can have a tamarind flavor. And a soursop, little hint of soursop thing in there.
Okay.
And flavors, I love flavors.
I love it.
I tried them together, but just in my head.
I was thinking about it. I love it. I love
tamarind drinks. Tamarind drinks are nice. Yeah. And it isn't, dark. It's, once you strain and everything, it can be like a little clear brown. So, you can do that. And then you can add like a little pearl, some little like boba in there. So, for a nice surprise.
I love it. I like that. I love that. I love any type of stuffed fish, like stuffed grouper, stuffed snapper. I love salmon, but I like that menu.
Salmon mousse. Salmon mousse. You can do a salmon mousse. You can do, like I said, a snapper mousse, and just like two type. Two style. So just salmon mousse in the fillet, and then roll it, and then bake.
Try to make me hungry. I love it. This episode has been so informative for me, because as a planner, I don't always believe, or I don't have the notion that I know everything. Hence the reason, like I told you when we introduced, that Event Horizons is a podcast where those in the industry and those trying to come into the industry, or clients that are, looking for information and how to go about planning an event, can get information, and mainly letting them know that this is what we have here locally in the Bahamas. So as we prepare to wrap up this session of Event Horizon, Sean, you to give some word of advice, or if it were you back then, what would you want someone to tell you now that you've been in the industry for over 10 years? What would young Shonell would have wanted to hear at that point in time?
Oh boy, child, I would want to hear. Have plenty energy. Get plenty sleep now, because you can lose plenty of it then. Be knowledgeable of where to go, who to ask, and don't be afraid to lean on someone, for assistance. And have a strong team. Have a strong team. Because you can't do it all by yourself. And when you think about doing event catering, which encompasses so many parts, you have to have a team.
Yes.
You have to have a team. You have to have persons who would go above and beyond, just like you. You have to have like-minded people who work with you as well. So that your vision and their vision, kind of go together instead of left and right.
Yeah.
And so you would want to also be open-minded, be modest, have a listening ear. Because with clients, they're gonna go on and on and on and on and on, and you have to be patient. Have patience. Yeah, you gotta be patient, and you have to just be you, be creative. I mean, if something that you're called to do, most of it should come from free flowing. Come free flowing.
I get that.
But But I love it. I love what I do. I love cooking. I love creating. I love decor, the little that I do.
That's a lot.
From my perspective, the little that I do to make sure that my buffet is wow, at the end of the day. So I love it, and I think that's the main thing, that you have to love what you do.
I agree.
In order to continue doing it and doing it for so long.
Yes, wow.
Because we have a lot of people who just want to cook just to make the money, and so they come into it and they go right out of it. Like somebody said, what else do you? I can't see myself doing anything else. I really can't, because this is you. This is what I do. So, this is what I love.
Wow, that's amazing. And with that, that's the reason why your business is still up and running, and people hire you for you.
Yeah.
Shonell, I am so happy that you agreed my last minute invitation. I'm happy that you agreed to come on the podcast, because I think the information that you brought forth is what we need, and the information is playing a vital role. Once our viewers and our listeners get, a piece of this podcast, they'll know, listen, catering is a whole deal. It's an experience. So don't let no one slap up in your face and say they just can throw a couple of ingredients together. When you get a caterer, you get someone of quality.
Yes.
And I appreciate like I said, I appreciate the information that you brought forth. And I do hope that this is not going to be the last time you come, and share your expertise on event horizons, because I do want, and I do hope and pray that the events industry in the Bahamas becomes more vast, and persons become more knowledgeable about what the event industry is all about.
Yeah.
And not just second guess and say, it's just throwing tablecloths together, or me just hiring somebody to cook, or me just letting somebody put 2 flowers together and make one centerpiece, and that's the end of that. It's a real experience. And I hope and pray that your business continue to prosper.
Thank you.
And
so much.
That you continue to be as creative as you as you are, because to put you on the spot like that, to create a menu, and you are able to actually do that speaks volume. And that goes to show what kind of quality you exude, and what kind of experience that you give your clients when you do this that you do. And like you just said, you do not see yourself doing anything else, and that is beautiful. So Shonell, I just want to say thank you again for coming on this episode of Event Horizons. So guys, hit up Miss Shonell's Classy Chefs.
Classy Chefs Catering.
Thank you so much
for having me, and sure, definitely I'll be back.
Thank you. So guys, until next time, see you later.
All right.
Thank you.